Are you struggling with roadblocks as a woman in the challenging and constantly changing world of corporate America? If you feel stuck in your career, you may be holding yourself back and may not even realize it. Prepare to be enlightened by the meaningful discussions here at the No Woman Left Behind podcast. Each week, gather the insight you need to break down those walls of limiting beliefs. Unleash your full potential and unlock the leader within. Listen to raw conversations with corporate women as they share inspiring stories with the purpose of obtaining their dream career and living a truly fulfilling life. Here's your host, Rosie Zilinskas.
Hey everyone, welcome to the No Woman Left Behind show. I'm Rosie Zilinskas. I am so excited that this show is finally being released out into the universe. It has been a long time coming, a passion project, and it is finally here today. Well, who is this show for? You're probably wondering. This show is geared towards women in corporate that are seeking to advance in their careers. They are trying to get a seat at the table, or they're trying to move up the corporate ladder, and they feel like they're stuck and they don't know why. It may be a situation where you may be holding yourself back and you may not even be aware that you're holding yourself back. And I will explain that in a little bit. One thing that I would like to start with is, when you think about your career, are you clear with what you want to do? Are you clear with what you aspire to be? And that could be, maybe you're in a position where you're looking to just stay in the position and just do the best work that you can do there. That's great. But you could also be in a position where you want to become a team lead, or you want to get that next seniority level within that same job that you're doing. You could want to step into a management position. You could also aspire to become an executive, at some point down the line. So these are all things that you can aspire to do in your career. And you, again, may be stuck, but you don't know why. You may be doing all the right things, or so you think that you're doing all the right things, and nothing is happening, and you're not sure what is going wrong. Well, I can tell you that that is completely understandable, but it may be that you're not engaged in the work that you're doing as much as you think you are. And what do I mean by that? Well, according to the Gallup World Poll, 70% of people are not engaged in the work that they do. 70% of the workforce, a lot of unhappy people. And that's unfortunate, because if you're not engaged in the work that you do, then you're bored, because obviously you're not engaged. The days are long. That means that you're more than likely not volunteering to do extra projects. You may not be providing ideas to your manager on how to improve processes. If your team is drowning in work and you're not, you're probably like, I don't really care. So all of those things are ways that you may not be engaged in the work that you do. Now, the problem there is that there are some serious consequences by you not being engaged in the work that you do. First of all, again, you're not advancing in your career. And if you're not advancing in your career, then that means that you're not getting salary increases. Your production is not going up. And also with salary increases, you're not able to take care of yourself or your family the way you would want to take care of them if you had those continual salary increases. When you start becoming engaged, when you actually start making an effort, then things start changing. And that's when you're going to be getting those promotions and advancing in your career. I do know that a lot of women, we're so hard on ourselves, and we may not believe or trust that we deserve that position. So it's almost like a self-belief, lack of self-belief, and lack of self-trust. And because you don't believe in yourself, then it's really difficult for you to go apply for that position. But you have to work on your mindset. So that's part of your mindset and what you think about yourself and what you think others think about you. Not that it matters, but these are all different ways of you holding yourself back. The truth is that you are deserving of an amazing career. And when you are engaged and when you're happy in the work that you do, you are fulfilled and things start moving in your career at that time. But if you're not, then it's a self-fulfilling prophecy of you thinking, oh gosh, I don't qualify for that job, so I'm not going to get it. Well, again, it's one of those things that you need to be clear on what you want. One of the things that I also encourage you to think about is, are you in the right line of business? Meaning that if you're an accountant, are you happy with accounting? If you're an attorney, are you happy with that law job? Or if you're an insurance professional, are you happy in that type of position? And if you're not, then you need to figure out why you're not happy with that position, because it's really important that you at least are happy with the line of business that you chose. And from there, getting to that next promotion, well, that's just a process. But if you're completely in the wrong line of business, then that's a completely different story. And if you're in the wrong line of business, I'm going to tell you right now that you kind of need to go back to the drawing board and ask yourself, what makes you happy? What are some of the skills that you love to do? Because if you can marry the skills that you love to do with a paying position, then you're going to be much happier, both in your career and your life. I think everybody knows that if someone is miserable in their jobs, more than likely they're going to be miserable in their home life as well, because it bleeds, your work life bleeds into obviously your personal life. So again, it's really important for you to be clear on the type of position that you want to do. And if you are clear on the type of position that you want to do, and you know that you want to continue to advance in that line of business, then another thing that we're going to talk about down the line as well is, do you have a focus strategy? Because if you don't have a focus strategy, and everybody has heard this saying before, it's like you getting on a plane and flying around in the sky and not having anywhere to land, because you don't have a strategy, you don't have a destination, you don't have a plan. And all of that is critically important for you to get to that next level in your career. And if you are stuck in your job and you are feeling unaccomplished in your position, then you are in the right place, because we're going to be talking a lot about how you're stuck, why you're stuck, what you can do to get unstuck. So we're going to talk about all that stuff. And I can totally relate to you, because I was where you are. I myself, many years ago was stuck in the position that I was in, because at the time, I was working really hard. I was doing all the things, volunteering. I was engaged. I was backing up my manager, all that stuff. And I was thinking to myself, literally, I had this thought that any day now, my manager is going to notice my hard work. Any day now, someone is going to come and tap me on the shoulder and say, hey, Rosie, do you want to become a manager? Do you want to move into the corner office as a manager? But guess what? Nobody ever came. And it wasn't until I had the foresight, the inkling to speak up and say something like, I'm interested in the management position. They're like, oh, really? I was like, yeah, really. And it turns out that I was holding myself back at that time because I didn't say anything. I didn't communicate to my manager that I wanted to continue to advance in my career. So again, I can relate to exactly where you are today. So my mission is to eradicate the gender gap in the corporate world by empowering women in their careers. I want to help women realize, to become aware that they may be holding themselves back and they may not even have a clue that they're holding themselves back. And the reality is that I have a lot of knowledge to share, and I truly want to give and serve and help you figure out how you are holding yourself back. So, what does the format of the podcast look like? I am going to be releasing weekly podcasts, and it's not always going to be me just talking at you up here. It's going to be me giving you some valuable content through interviews. I have interviewed some amazing women for future episodes that you will hear about, but I'm making really great connections with women that are, again, just phenomenal. And all of these women are willing to come and share their knowledge with you as well. So we'll have formats, interview formats as well. I'm also thinking that I might have like a series of episodes. So for example, I have Heather Bennett we already have an episode recorded on branding. But that was just one episode. There's so much information that Heather and I could talk about that I could see having a series of branding episodes, maybe 3 or 4 episodes. Now, Heather doesn't know this, so this is going to be news to her when she hears this episode, but she might come back and we can unpack each one of the components of branding in a shorter episode, maybe. So I'm thinking that we'll have a series of episodes on a specific topic as time goes on. So Heather is going to be one person that is going to talk about branding. I also have Lisa Thompson. Lisa Thompson is a confidence expert, and I love everything that Lisa and I talked about. But one thing that I specifically remember from her episode is she said, when you are trying to get that position, when you're trying to get a promotion and you don't get it, give yourself 24 hours to sit in the suck. And that's actually one of my favorite phrases now, because when I'm having a bad day, I'm like, oh, it's okay to sit in the suck. So Lisa's going to be talking about confidence. So again, I can see inviting Lisa back for another couple of episodes just to talk about confidence, because I will tell you, ladies, that I found out that girls' confidence peaks at age 9. Age 9, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. We're also going to have a few millennials on the show. We're going to have Krista Scott, Claire Bassong, and Brittany McLaughlin. So they are all millennials navigating the workforce, and they're going to be talking about millennial expectations as well as corporate culture as a millennial. So it has been 30 years since I started my career, and I can tell you that it is very different. The expectations of millennials today are very different, and I applaud their assertiveness. We're going to hear from Margaret Graziano. She's going to give us some amazing tips to boost your performance. Rachel O'Shea is going to be here. She's going to be talking about what it's like to work in a male-dominated organization, and she's also going to be talking about challenging the status quo. I love Rachel. She's amazing. She's going to be talking about really great ways to carry yourself when it comes to being in a meeting and how you can be more assertive. We're also going to have a couple of shows on, or a couple of episodes on, the importance of diversity, equity, and inclusion in the workplace. So that's going to be Lori Battaglia and Kim Pipkin. They're going to be talking about the importance of DEI work and how it translates into the importance of leaders being savvy and knowledgeable in diversity, equity, and inclusion. So all of that is going to be coming down the line for you. So again, we have some amazing episodes, amazing conversations coming your way. And one thing that I really think is important is, again, you guys really need to kind of tell me what works, what doesn't work. I would love to hear your feedback. We are going to also have a blog that goes along with the podcast. So we're going to have the podcast in audio. We're also going to have the podcast on video. God help me. So, and then the third component is going to be the blog. So we are going to put all of the information on my blog about each episode, and it's going to be jam-packed with resources and contact information for every guest that's on the episode. And you're going to find the blog on the nowomanleftbehind.com website. So all of that's going to be contained. Anyway, I think this is going to be a fantastic venue. I think we're going to have some amazing conversations. And more than anything, I want this podcast to be a resource for you to be able to continue to advance in your career so that you can have the career and the life of your dreams. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for listening to me. And I will always end my episode by telling you to be brave, be bold, and take action. Until next time.
Thank you for listening to this episode. Let these stories of self-encouragement and professional development serve as a guide in navigating through corporate America in the most practical and fulfilling way possible. Do not forget to subscribe to the show at nowomanleftbehind.com for more content like this. Leave a rating and share it with your friends, because we want to make sure that no woman is left behind. Until I see you next time, remember to be brave, be bold, and take action.